Hello and welcome to video 3. In this video, I will be starting off doing some um, model changes, and then I will be building the Django admin interface for this project. So to start off, um, I'm going to rename this model, this tick data model. I don't like that name; it's not a very good name, so I'm instead going to call it pull result. It's just a better, more descriptive name. The reason poll result is because this line up here, line 18, we call the poll method on the graph set and then store it as this result variable. And so that's kind of very descriptive, I think. And so this model would be better called poll result. Also, I need to add a field here. We want to know which graph set the result came from. So we'll add this field, and then we have to add it up here as well. So this get name is going to be a method on the graph set, so we need to implement that. So we'll go here, and on the graph set, this is the sort of the base class. So each one of these inherits from this class. So on here we'll create this get name function, and by default we'll just say return So it's just going to return the name of the class. And this method will be available on both of these subclasses. And so we're going to test it out. So we'll go to the shell. So yeah, return system load. That's the name of this graph set. And then the other one returns uptime. So that works. And also this date, we want to pass this into the poll object, so we'll make it a separate variable. So on the graph set, the poll function has this tick time argument, and that argument represents the time that the tick is being made. And in both of these graph sets, it doesn't use the tick time, but there will be other graph sets that will use it. So I just put it in there anyways, just for the future. And since I changed the model, I have to make new migrations. So normally you would just make a new migration on top of the one that's existing. So the initial one is 0001. And then normally if this was a production project, you would make a new migration, which would be 0002. But this project is not a production project yet. It's still in development. And so all the data in the database is just test data. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete this. And also, I'm going to delete the database file. And then I'm just going to make a new one. And then there we go. Now I'll just test this out. This is called the make tick. Also, we have this runtime warning where it says it received a native date time while time zone support is active. So I'm going to fix that by, well, first I want to see if this worked. There it did, it made the tick object. But there was no graph sets, so it didn't actually call any of this because I left this empty, and so it just didn't iterate over anything. But yeah, I want to fix this this thing here. So instead of date time now, I'm just going to say time zone now, and I'm going to remove this. So what this does, this time zone, it just returns a date time object that is time zone aware. And so it doesn't give you that warning. There it is, so no warning. And now there's two tick objects. And this here is just says tick object, comma, tick object. That's not very descriptive, so I'm going to change. I'm going to make it so that when it shows the tick object in the command line on the shell, it'll show something more descriptive. So to do that, on this tick model, I'm going to create a function called Unicode, and I'll just return it'll just return the machine name and then a dash and then the date. So now it shows my machine name, the dash, and then the date when the tick was made, which was just a couple minutes ago, and then the second one. Now I'm going to do the Django admin. So to do that, we want to create an admin file. And then inside here, we want to define the admin, basically your code to define the admin. So I don't remember the syntax of this, so I'm just going to copy it from another project. For now, I'm just going to keep these commented out. I'll add them later. Okay, so now we're going to load up the admin and see if it shows up. So to do that, first I have to run the server. This is the development server. It makes it so you can go to your localhost 8000. So it says it's running on localhost basically 8000. So I go here and it'll give me this welcome page. And then to go to the admin, you just go /admin. And it wants me to log in, which I haven't created a login yet, so I have to do that. So what we do is run this command, create superuser. I don't like that. Okay, now I can log in. And there's our ticks. And if we click on it, it'll show the two that we created, the two ticks in the database. And if you click on one of them, it'll bring up this little page where you can modify it. You can change the date, you can change what this says and stuff. But we're not gonna change that at this time. So, but what we want to do is we want to customize this view so that it shows like better information. So that's where this comes in. So we just want to list the fields that we want to have shown up into a column. So just machine and date. And then the ordering, just order by date. And then we're not going to use this. And then we refresh. Sometimes whenever you change the file, it automatically reloads. And I had a field there which didn't exist. That's why this kind of crashed. So when that happens, you just restart. And there it is. So it's in two different columns, and you can sort by column by clicking on the column header. And for now, that's all we're going to do for the Django admin. Later on, I'll add more customizations to it, but for now, I'm just going to keep it at that. What I want to do next is the management command. So here, when we call make tick, it actually passes in the graph sets, and so we're actually going to do polling. So before it was just an empty set of graph sets, and so it wasn't actually calling any polls. But now when I do it through the command line, it actually does the polls. So, but first I'm going to do one thing. I'm going to add to the admin a custom, we'll call this number of polls. And this is going to return the number of polls that was collected for that particular tick. So it's just for these two that's already in the admin, it'll be 0 because this one has no ticks. But when we call this from the management command, it'll return 2 because there's 2 installed graph sets. So the way we do this, we count the number of poll results that are associated with that particular tick. And so the way we do that is poll result underscore set dot count. Yeah, so it returns 0 because there's no polls. So now let's try to run it through the management command. So the way we do that, we just do, I think this will probably fail though. I think the reason it's not working is we need an init.py file. Now it should work. Actually, it still might, yeah. This poll method is an instance method, and we're not instantiating this. So graph set is a class, because in the settings, we have class names here. These aren't instances, these are classes. And so when we iterate through them, these are instances, not classes, so we need to instantiate them. So I'll just say there. Now we're not, when we call poll, we're not calling the class itself, we're calling the instance of the class. So we'll try this again. We forgot to import. And it worked. And so now we'll go here. And we can see this one created 2 polls. This is the one that failed that I tried before. That's going to be it for this video. In the next video, I'm going to create, I'm going to have it show the polls in this page. So below date, it'll just say poll results, and it'll list each of the poll results associated with this tick. And that's it for now. So, I got a commit, so we'll go to GitHub. And that's it. I'll see you next video.